Well, welcome. This is help for MINITAB 5. If you go to your home page on Blackboard, you're going to go into your MINITAB assignment folder, which is right here. I want to direct you once again to the MINITAB command and help file. This will be the help file for all these MINITABs and the particular area or chapter that the MINITABs go over. MINITAB 5 is actually a Chapter 17 concepts. So if you go into the MINITAB command and help folder, you can find all the commands that you need for this particular MINITAB assignment. Now, for MINITAB for chapters 1, 2, 3, and 8, this folder contains the different commands that you would use for all the different topics covered in those chapters. 11 and 13, which we went over before. And then if you wanted help with bar graphs, there's a MINITAB for the bar graphs. But we're in chapter 17, so we go into here to the MINITAB help for chapters 14 through 22. One thing you will need to do is make a probability plot. And here's the command for the probability plot and what would come out from that. Now we scroll down and we get into the population mean when the standard deviation is unknown. But these are the commands for summarized data. In this MINITAB, we don't have any problems that have summarized data, so we're going to scroll down a little bit further to where we have the raw data that will be in MINITAB, and you'll have to do the commands for that. And this is when we have a one sample problem where we're doing confidence intervals about the mean and hypothesis testing about the mean. You can see these up here is the confidence interval, a very short command, and then these are the commands for the significance tests for a one sample t-test. And remember, we use t-tests when we are not given population standard deviation, and none of the problems in MINITAB 5 will give you population standard deviation. So you're in t-tests and in confidence interval, one sample t intervals. So on the right is the example of how you would actually use it. And we're going to do these examples because I'm not going to do the data that you have in MINITAB, but I'll show you how to do the same exact problems but using this battery life data. So this is how we would do this. And for a quick note down below, if you forget which alternative to use, once you've established your alternative hypothesis, the alternative that you would use is here on MINITAB. You use -1 if you're in a left-tailed test, 0 if you're in a two-tailed test, and 1 if you're in a right-tailed test. Now for one of the problems, for the paired differences, you're going to have a column of the differences. So you'll be given two samples, but since they're dependent, we take the difference of each individual pair, and then we get the average of those differences. And we do the tests on those differences. So we'll have a column of differences, and we'll use the same command as if it were just a one sample test. And again, the alternatives will stay the same. But for one of the problems, you're going to have to actually make the column of differences. And this is the command you would use for that. Is where you have whatever column it is, and here it says C4, but you could be C15, and have it equal the difference of two columns. So we're going to talk about this and do this problem. Actually show you an example of a real problem that very much directly corresponds with MINITAB. So we go back to our MINITAB assignments, and we're going to open up MINITAB 5 folder. And in that folder, you're going to see the actual assignment and the data that goes with that assignment. You open up that data, that's what you'll work with, but the MINITAB assignment is where the questions are. So we're going to open up the assignment. Now again, I'm going to direct you to the writing in blue. It is so important that you follow these directions. If not, you'll have points taken off for silly things. And I don't wish to see anybody get points taken off for something silly, like putting your name on the paper, putting Stat 250 and your section number, and then centering MINITAB 5 on your first page. You need to number and letter the answers accordingly, as it is on the questions, and please use complete and coherent sentences to answer all of the questions. For those of you that are not online that might be viewing this, you need to staple your papers as you give them into class and hand the papers in at the start of class. For my online, you just make sure you email it to the GTA. Now the first question comes from your book. It's an adaptation of it, and what you're going to do is you're going to take this data where the data is in MINITAB. Now from Blackboard I opened up the MINITAB because I wanted to show everybody this. What you see up here is what you need to copy and paste, and you only need to copy and paste it once because you only need to open this up once. You need to copy and paste the date and this information that opens as soon as you open up this MINITAB file. This information pops up. You need to copy and paste that onto your paper. That's very important, or we will not the GTAs are told not to continue grading, and you get a 0 for the MINITAB. So you need to make sure you copy and paste this from the sessions window into your MINITAB assignment. So what you would do is you'd highlight it just like I'm doing here. Just highlight it all, copy it, and then go to whatever your sheet, your MINITAB sheet, and as you can see, you'd put your name there, Stat 250-001 for my online, MINITAB 5, and then you just copy and paste what you see in the sessions window. So I have this going on, and then you can straighten this up to make it look very nice. So I got through and cleaned that up. Now I want to make sure that I can have A, B, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to make sure my numbering is going to go well. So I'll just put some fake letters in there. And then what I want to do is change this one. I want to go up here and make it A so that I have my parts for each of my MINITABs. This is how you can make a really nice document. And I'm sure everybody's got their own ways to do this. This is just the way that I do it. Let me tell you, I'm not an expert, but at least I can make it look relatively nice. So if you have another way to do it, great, but this is how I do it. So as you can see, in column 1 I have the heat conductivity numbers. And we copy and pasted all responses in the sessions window as we opened MINITAB 5. Now it's time to start answering the questions. Part A asks, make a probability in box plot and see if there are any major deviations from normality. And is it reasonable to use the T procedure? Why or why not? So you're going to do probability plots and see if you can do it. If you do your box plot and your probability plot and everything looks good, then you go on to do B, C, and D. If not, do not do B, C, and D. If there's any deviations from normality or you have an outlier, because you shouldn't do the procedure if normality is not, the condition of normality is not met, or you have outliers, you shouldn't do your T procedures. So to do parts B or C or anything after that, when you see that your data is not normal, won't be a good thing. You'll get points taken off. So do your probability plots to make sure. Now I told you I wasn't going to use this data. I'm going to show you how to do it using the battery data and pretty much parallel what we're doing here in this MINITAB. So I'm going to go into Blackboard and I'm going to go to the MINITAB examples file to find the data for the batteries. So you find that in the Course Resource and Informations folder. There's lots of good stuff in here. I go to the MINITAB examples, and I'm going to look for the battery life problem that I need the data for. So we're going to open up this data and use it. So the first thing we're going to do is do a probability plot and a box plot to make sure we can actually do any of our T procedures. Click in the Sessions window, make sure you enable the editor so that you can do the commands. And we're going to do pplot C1, and then we're going to do the box plot to see to make sure. Here we have our probability plot. Looks pretty linear, looks pretty good, but we just 100% make sure we don't have any outliers, so we do the box plot. That's the command for box plot, and if I want it horizontal, I just do transpose and hit enter. And you also want to make sure that you have good titles. For the battery life was in hours, if you just to let you know, so we could actually put that in there. We're not going to worry too much on the units in this one because it's kind of tough. For this particular MINITAB, some of the units are difficult, but do your best on that. Then I would fix up the plots. Now, in part 2 of this MINITAB assignment 5, I'm going to continue on and show you how you can get these really nicely into your document and go on. So I will see you in installment.